trying to address that really, like how to manage my feelings in a very uncomfortable situation. My name's Stewart and I am the Chief Exec at Gendered Intelligence. When I hear the word disagreeing, I do think, oh, I'm quite a kind of conflict-averse person, I would say, and one of the things that I have been kind of working on in terms of my own personal professional development is to work the muscle of disagreeing and to think about how that is good for society and that is a healthy thing in society. And I also appreciate that for many of us, that discomfort doesn't, sit well with us and is something that we perhaps do avoid. I think disagreeing well is about forming an argument and hearing an argument, a sort of a range of thoughts and considerations about a matter without taking that personally or without thinking that is a kind of a critique of who I am or who any person is, and that is a kind of value judgment against another person. But of course, it's easier said than done, isn't it? And these things play out that do feel deeply personal. In fact, sometimes are an attack on a person's sense of self. So for me, it's about identifying where that line is. So I think for me, figuring that out is part of that kind of wellness or healthiness around agreement and disagreement. As part of my role, I have to enter conversations where people might hold views or beliefs that I do disagree with. There's a range of strategies to do that. One is to be able to have confidence around where your red lines are really, and to consider what is and what isn't a conversation that's up for debate or up for grabs. So I think part of it is to engage, to make decisions ahead of the disagreement or agreement, ahead of the conversation, and to think strategically about what you want to get out of that moment, what the work is. And sometimes there is a reason to do that which involves influencing people. So to be strategic about what you want to get out of it and to hold on to that as an end game, if you like. It's really helpful to be calm and to be measured and to be evidence-based in your argument or your viewpoint, to be able to put that across and to convince someone that life should look a certain way, or that maybe change can happen and that person can be involved in affecting that change for the better of, for example, trans people. And I think that does work. I think being like that does work, alongside being friendly and being approachable and not sort of attacking somebody else, especially if they are kind of lacking information or lacking in education around something that I might want to educate them on or shift opinion on. And I think that the other thing to also touch on is to consider how important kind of lived experience is. So when the disagreement or agreement conversation is happening, it's really helpful to think who is affected by this conversation, whose lived experience is going to matter, and perhaps we should place those individuals at the centre of our thinking. When you disagree with someone or when conflict comes through, like diverse opinions, it can make you have a bodily reaction, and it's totally understandable that you will have palpitations, that you'll feel quite worried and nervous, you'll maybe anxious, and that is expressed or manifests kind of physically. Keep thinking about breathing and kind of what good breath can look like. Grounding yourself, there's mindfulness exercises. And there's also, I think for me, a sense of not blaming yourself or not beating yourself up about feeling those things. It's absolutely understandable that you would feel those things in that situation and other people feel those things. There's a kind of a practice in it. So when you enter those moments more than once, twice, 5, 10 times, then you do get more familiar with those feelings and you know that you are going to be okay, you know. Lean into the nuance of the conversation. I think when you find yourself in a polarised discussion, it's not helpful for anybody. And so where are the things, the areas of conversation that will be more helpful around problematising the issue and leaning into that nuance, and to bring people kind of into that grey area rather than to support people to be situated in that kind of black and white space. So disagreement doesn't have to be hostile, I suppose, is my short version of what I'm saying.